Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I want you to sit with this thought for a second. The most dangerous man to a woman's heart is not the one who gives her flowers, not the one who showers her with attention, and not even the one who promises her forever. The most dangerous man, the man who makes her pulse quicken and her mind restless, is the man who can look her straight in the eye, love her deeply, and still walk away if he must. This unsettles women more than anything else because it flips the power she thought she had over him. You see, women are naturally drawn to security, but paradoxically, they crave the thrill of knowing they cannot fully control you. And when a woman senses that you are not chained to her approval, her validation, or her body, she feels an intensity that she cannot fake. Because deep down, every woman knows the truth. A man who cannot walk away will one day be broken by her hands, and she does not respect what she can break. Think about that. How many men have bent themselves into pretzels trying to keep a woman happy, only to watch her lose interest, drift away, or replace him with a man who gave her less attention but more self-respect? This is not cruelty, it's psychology. A woman's respect is not earned through endless sacrifice, but through strength, boundaries, and a silent willingness to lose her rather than lose yourself. When you are that man, her attraction spikes, her respect deepens, and her behavior shifts. She tests you less because she knows those tests could actually cost her you. She treats you differently because she senses she is in the presence of a man who values himself above her moods, and that makes you magnetic in a way she cannot resist. So here's the first truth most men never hear. If you want her to truly want you, to truly respect you, then you must carry inside you the ability to walk away. Without it, you'll forever chase her validation, and she will never give it to you freely. Most men don't realize how much women sense desperation without a single word being spoken. She can feel it in your eyes when you look at her, as if she's the center of your universe. She can hear it in the way your voice bends when you're afraid of losing her. And she can see it in the way you overgive, over-explain, or overstay in a place where you're being tolerated instead of celebrated. This is the silent killer of attraction. You think you're loving her, but to her, you are proving that you cannot live without her. And a woman cannot deeply respect a man who needs her more than he values himself. She may keep you around. She may even say she loves you. But deep down, she knows she holds the leash. That knowledge poisons everything, because it turns the relationship into an uneven power dynamic where she's in control and you're the one pleading for crumbs. And here's the paradox most men never understand. Women do not want to control men. They want to be led by them. They want to feel safe in the presence of a man who does not collapse under the weight of their emotions. They want to know they are with someone who could leave, who could rebuild, who could walk into the world and thrive without them, because that makes them feel chosen, not settled for. Think of it this way. If she knows you won't walk away no matter how she treats you, why should she treat you with reverence? But if she knows your presence in her life is earned, that you could withdraw it at any time, she treasures it like gold. She understands that love with you is not guaranteed. It must be nurtured, and that awareness keeps her invested, attentive, and respectful. The secret most men were never taught is this: women crave the gravity of a man who is whole on his own. A man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and doesn't tolerate disrespect. A man who has built a life so fulfilling that she adds to it, but never defines it. That is why men who can walk away are rare, magnetic, and unforgettable. Let me ask you something. How many times have you seen a woman stay obsessed with the man who wasn't the nicest, who didn't give her constant attention, but who carried himself with unshakable certainty? It's because women are not drawn to comfort the way men imagine. They are drawn to the challenge of earning a man's devotion. When she knows she can't easily sway you, when she knows your world doesn't orbit her moods, she starts working harder to keep your attention. This is not manipulation. This is human psychology. scarcity creates value. If she knows your time, your energy, and your heart are not handed out freely, she sees them as precious. The man who makes himself too available, too eager, too dependent, becomes invisible. He disappears into the background of her life, while the man who demands respect by how he carries himself takes center stage. Understand this. Women secretly fear being with a man who cannot survive without them, because that man will eventually suffocate them. What she wants is to be desired, not needed. She wants to know that when you choose her, it's not out of desperation, it's out of preference. And preference is powerful, because it says, I have options, I have a life, I have strength, but I still choose you. That hits her deeper than any sweet words ever could. Now here's where most men destroy themselves. They confuse tolerance with love. They stay with a woman who disrespects them, belittles them, or constantly tests them, all because they're terrified of losing her. And yet that terror is the very thing that ensures they will lose her. The instant she knows you are too afraid to walk away, she knows she has you in her pocket, and the game is over. But when you are a man who has the courage to say, I won't accept this, and actually mean it, her entire posture changes. Suddenly, the power dynamic flips. She leans in, she adjusts, she invests, because she knows she is at risk of losing something rare. This is why the man who can walk away is never truly abandoned, because women fight to stay with him. Every man needs to hear this. Women respect strength more than they respect love. And I know that sounds harsh, maybe even unfair, but it's the truth no one tells you. You can pour your heart out. You can write her the sweetest words. You can sacrifice your own needs just to make her happy, and she may smile, she may thank you, but she will not respect you for it. Respect doesn't come from how much you give. It comes from how much you refuse to give up on yourself. A man who stands firm in his boundaries, who doesn't bend every time she pushes, who can look at her tears and tantrums without losing his ground. That is the man she admires. You see, love without respect dies. Attraction without respect fades. But respect, once earned, deepens everything. And here's the hard truth. The easiest way to lose a woman's respect is to show her you are terrified of losing her. That is the silent death of so many relationships. The man puts her on a pedestal, convinces himself she's the prize, and forgets that he is the prize too. He becomes predictable, controllable, even boring, because she knows exactly how far she can push him. And when she knows there's no line he won't let her cross, she loses interest. Contrast that with the man who draws a line and means it. The man who can enjoy her presence but doesn't cling to it. The man who gives love, but not at the expense of his dignity. She feels that strength in her bones. It unsettles her, excites her, and binds her respect to him. Women test men not because they're evil, but because they want to know the truth. Can you lead me? Can you hold me? Can you stay grounded when I'm at my most chaotic? And when she sees that you can, her loyalty deepens, her attraction sharpens, and her respect becomes unshakable. But none of that is possible if you cannot walk away. Walking away isn't about leaving every time there's conflict. It's about holding the power to do so and never being afraid of it. That power alone changes everything. Let me tell you something that flips everything upside down. Women don't fall in love with the man who gives them the world. They fall in love with the man who makes them step up. When you give her everything without asking for anything, she feels guilty, restless, and even resentful. But when you demand the best from her, not through anger, not through control, but through your standards, she feels elevated. She feels like she has to earn you, and that's what keeps her invested. Men often fear that setting boundaries will push a woman away, but the opposite is true. Boundaries don't push her away, they pull her closer. They tell her, this man values himself, and if I want to be in his world, I have to rise to meet him. That's intoxicating to her, because while she may fight your boundaries in the moment, deep down, she craves them. They make her feel safe, desired, and led. Think about it. What happens when a man has no boundaries? He accepts late replies, disrespectful behavior, mixed signals, even betrayal, all because he's afraid of losing her, and she sees it. She may not say it out loud, but she feels it. If I can get away with this, I don't have to respect him. And once respect is gone, love slowly rots from the inside. But a man who can look her in the eye and say, "I won't allow that," without raising his voice, without begging, without threatening, holds a power she cannot shake. Because now she knows this man will not allow himself to be diminished, even for her. That makes her respect him. That makes her chase him. That makes her fight for his attention. Understand this clearly. Walking away isn't about punishing her. It's about protecting yourself. It's about proving that your self-worth isn't negotiable. And ironically, when you carry that strength, most women will never want to make you walk away because they know what's at stake. They know losing you would mean losing a man who is rare, steady, and unafraid of solitude. And that kind of man is unforgettable. Here's a truth most men are terrified to face. Women are not afraid of losing men who worship them. They are afraid of losing men who don't need them. And that is exactly why women chase the man who can walk away. Neediness makes you replaceable. Independence makes you irreplaceable. When she looks at you and sees a man who has purpose, vision, and self-respect, she realizes she cannot just slide into your life and take it over. She has to add to it, or she'll be left behind. That terrifies her, and it excites her at the same time. You see, most women are used to men folding at the slightest sign of withdrawal. Ignore her message for a day, and he panics. She pulls back affection, and he starts begging for validation. She threatens to leave, and he surrenders his pride just to keep her. But when she tries this with a man who doesn't chase, who doesn't beg, who stays calm and collected, her entire game falls apart. She realizes manipulation doesn't work here. Drama doesn't work here. The only thing that works is her being real, her being feminine, her being respectful. And that's why men who can walk away don't just get attention, they get the best version of the woman. She drops the games because she knows they will cost her. She shows loyalty because she knows it matters. She invests more because she feels like she's not guaranteed a spot in your life unless she proves she deserves it. And here's what most men overlook. Women admire men they can look up to, not men they can look down on. If she feels she can control you, she loses respect. If she feels she has to compete for your respect, she fights to keep it. And when she finally knows that you're the kind of man who values his soul more than her approval, her attraction becomes deeper than desire. It becomes reverence. That reverence is what transforms relationships from shaky to unbreakable. And it only happens when you embody the rarest quality of all, the strength to walk away. There is a brutal reality that most men never want to admit. Women don't stay with the man who gives them everything. They stay with the man they're a little afraid to lose. And that fear doesn't come from threats. It doesn't come from control. It comes from respect. When she knows you have the courage to walk away, she knows she cannot take you for granted. That fear keeps her present. It keeps her invested. It keeps her working to nurture the connection. Without it, comfort kills everything. Think about the relationships you've seen, where the man bent over backwards, gave the woman his whole life, and in the end, she left him for someone who gave her less. Why? Because she didn't feel that edge, that gravity, that respect that only comes from a man who will never trade his dignity for her love. A woman doesn't want a man who collapses into her arms like a lost boy. She wants a man she can lean on, a man whose strength she feels even when he's silent. That's why she tests you, not to destroy you, but to see if you'll bend, not to break you, but to feel your strength. If you pass the test, her admiration grows. If you fail, her desire fades. This is why men who can walk away always stand apart. They are not cold. They are not heartless. They love fiercely but they love from a place of abundance, not fear. They know that walking away is not a loss, it's protection. Protection of their time, their energy, their soul. And women feel that protection. They may push against it, but secretly they crave it. Because it tells them, this man is unshakable. This man cannot be broken. This man chooses me, but does not need me. That distinction changes everything. Love without need becomes passion. Desire without desperation becomes respect. And respect is the foundation of every lasting bond. If you cannot walk away, you will always be at her mercy. But if you can, you will always be the man she values most. So here we are, at the core of it all. The truth that so many men ignore because it feels uncomfortable. The greatest power you will ever hold in love is the ability to walk away. Not because you don't care, but because you care about yourself enough to never beg for love, never tolerate disrespect, and never shrink to fit someone else's standards. Women are drawn to men who radiate that strength because it makes them feel something no amount of sweet words can give them: security. The irony is this: the man who fears losing her always loses her, but the man who can lose her rarely ever does, because she senses that his love is real, but not desperate. His devotion is pure, but not enslaving. His presence is powerful, but never guaranteed. And that unpredictability keeps her desire alive. I want you to remember this. Being able to walk away doesn't mean you stop loving women. It means you start loving yourself. And when you do, you stop settling for situations where you are only half respected. You stop clinging to women who play games with your time and emotions. You stop handing over your power in exchange for crumbs of attention. Instead, you become the man who doesn't chase because he attracts. You become the man who doesn't beg because he commands respect. You become the man who doesn't fear solitude because he knows solitude is where strength is built. That's the kind of man women dream about but rarely meet. That's the kind of man who changes the entire dynamic of every relationship he enters. And that's the kind of man you can become if you choose self-respect over desperation, strength over weakness, and boundaries over blind devotion. So now, let me leave you with this question, and I want you to answer honestly in the comments. Have you ever stayed in a relationship longer than you should have, simply because you were afraid to walk away? Think about it deeply, because your answer may reveal the very pattern that has held you back. If this video hit you hard, if it woke you up, then like it, subscribe for more, and share it with a friend who needs to hear these words tonight.